Welcome to Lab 4. In Lab 4 we're going to do other backgrounds, buttons, and we're going to put the text in the other rooms. So one thing we're going to create is our dead ends. You see the lion room here is a dead end. It doesn't go anywhere. The penguin room goes someplace. We're going to make a dead end at the bee room. And the escape room is going to be our end room. So this is where we're going next. Dead end is going to allow the player to turn around and go back. This case in the bee room is going to be ending the game. A dead end is a choice that doesn't lead to any more options. So if you haven't opened your game again, all you do is go down to the start menu, click open, then navigate to your folder, or you can open up your folder from your Flash CS5, 6, or 4, whatever you have. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add other backgrounds. So I'm going to unlock my background, and I'm going to click on level 2. And what's this one? I look at properties. It tells me that number 2 is the lion room. So I take the lion background, I drag it and I drop it here. Then I click my window, go down to align, and I align it to the left and I align it to the top and I close it. Next one, I go to the penguin room, bring down my penguin background, drag my penguin background here. I go to my window, go to align, I align it to the top, and I align it to the left. Close it out. Then I go to my bee room. So I come up and find my bee background, drag the bee background onto here, go to the window, go to align, go to align to the left, align to the top, and then I close that one out. And finally, I go to my last room, which is my escape room. So I go to the escape background, drag it on, and I align this too. Click Align button, align it to the left, and align it to the top, and I'm done with my backgrounds. So now I'm going to lock this layer. I open my text layer, and I'm going to go to frame 2. Now, you notice I don't have my comment codes open, so I'm going to go File, Open, and I open my comment codes. So now I'm going to find for lion text room. See, page 61, change the lion text room code. I'm going to copy this. Right-click Copy. Then I come back to my Zoo Escape game. I'm going to click on my text tool. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to do my Control V for paste. Yeah, I've done it all there. So here you can see when you zoom in that if you select everything and just paste it over the old text, it just replaces the old text. So now I'm going to do the same thing in the penguin room. So I come over in the penguin room, and I'm going to copy my penguin room code. Right-click Copy, and come back to the Zoo Escape. Then I'm going to click my text, select everything, and then paste it with my Control V. And then I check it out, and I see it looks fine, so I'm done with that room. Now I'm going to zoom it back out, and I'm going to do the same thing in the bee room. Okay, I'm going to go into my copy code. I come down to the bee room text here, and I'm going to copy all this. And I come back to Zoo Escape, and I'm going to click in here, click my text, and I'm going to do a Control A to select everything, Control V to paste it in, And once more, I'm going to go view. I'm going to zoom in to make sure that I've got it. Yep, everything's fine. So now I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to go into my next room. And I'm going to do the text for my next room. I'm going to go my code, escape room, right click copy, come back here, select everything. Maybe I'll do a Control A again. And then I just do a Control V to paste everything. Once again, I'm going to zoom in, make sure I did it right. Okay, that's good. So we're all done with the copy text. So now I'm going to padlock this layer. I'm going to unlock my buttons layer, and I'm going to go back to the lion room. And I'm going to add a back button here. So find my back button. You drag it and put it right above here. So now I get a back button on my back panel. So I've made the lion's room a dead end. I'm going to zoom back out, and I'm going to go to my penguin room. I have my buttons picked here still, right? Now I'm going to put some doors in the penguin room. Penguin door 1. Penguin door 2. So I'm going to make my B room a dead end. I'm going to click on the button row in my B room, and I'm going to put the play again button on my B row. Right here. And I also want this play again option on my last one. So I'm going to click my last one. I'll put my play again button right here, and I'm going to padlock my buttons. Now before I go into Lab 5, I want to check my work. I want to make sure each frame has the right background image. Frame 2 is lions, frame 3 is penguins, frame 4 has the bees, and frame 5 has the escape to safety. Okay, make sure that frame 2 has a back button, and frames 4 and 5 have play again buttons. Make sure that you have those two penguin doors on the penguin layer, and then you're all ready to go on to to Lab 5. So we're doing Lab 5. In Lab 5, we're going to add some coding that stops the game on the first frame. Okay, Flash thinks that your game is a movie unless you tell otherwise. See here, it flashes through all your scenes. So you're going to have to tell it to stop on frame 1. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about file extensions. If you did what you're supposed to do and set up your computer, you showed your file extensions. Okay, so we're going to see FLA. That's a normal Flash file extension. This is what we normally create. Once you run your code, once you play your game once, you're going to create a SWF file. An SWF file is what you finish and publish your game at the end of the unit. So you want to be able to distinguish between your files with their endings. So make sure that you're showing your endings. So now remember I have 5. If I click down Control and play, I can play my movie. So this is what it looks like before you put your stop code in. You can see it went real fast because it thinks it's a movie. The code that's used with Flash games is called ActionScript. So what is code? Code is just instructions. Tells the program what to do. ActionScript is what we use in Adobe Flash. You do it with movies, and it helps make your games interactive. In Flash, we're going to add ActionScript in the Actions panel. Auto formatting helps you to see what's going on with your coding. There's nothing wrong with your computer when it codes something red, green, or purple. It's just helping you out and determining what the computer's doing. So now I want to open up the Actions panel, so I need to go to the Window menu, and you click Actions, and your action frame will come up. So what you're probably going to do is resize it. So you want to drag it up this way to make it short, drag it this way to make it skinny, and they want you to drag it up so you get a blue line, but it takes over the whole line. So I'm just going to scooch it down a little bit so I can control it better. I know they want you to merge it, but it just takes up a lot of space, so I don't merge it. Whatever, if you want to merge it, is fine. Now if you can't see your timeline, all you do is, it has a little thing that says timeline here. Just click that and you'll be able to see that. Put this back. So let me drag the actions frame out of the way, and I'm going to make a new layer. And click this, and I'm going to call this layer code. And I'm going to drag it above the text layer. Now I'm going to put blank keyframes in all of my frames. So I'm clicking 1, hold down my shift key, clicking 5. Now I'm going to do that function 7 key. I'm going to hold down function and click F7. Or what you can do, it doesn't matter, you can go insert, timeline, and then put blank keyframes in all your frames. Whatever works for you. ActionScript code consists of a bunch of statements, which are commands. Okay, and every statement is going to end with a semicolon. This is a semicolon. Okay, statement just tells the computer to do something, perform a certain action. So it just marks the end of a statement. Just make sure you're using the right punctuation. Colons, parentheses, and curly braces all mean things. Okay, we're going to build some functions, and a function is just a type of statement. It's a piece of code that runs when another event happens, or the mouse clicks or something like that. The parentheses sometimes contains a code called a parameter. Parameter details what things that are going to help define the function. So now we're going to make our stop on our frame here. So I'm going to click on my first frame, and I'm going to click up here, and I'm going to type in the command stop, and I'm going to put in my parentheses, and I'm going to put in my semicolon. So now if you look in your frame 1, you should have ActionScript code there. So now I'm going to run my movie, do my Control Enter, and see it stops on the front frame. So if it ran right, you just save your stuff. Before we go to Lab 6, check your work. Make sure that your project's on track. Make sure your game stops on the first frame when you test it. Hold down your Control key and click Enter. Okay. Make sure it stops on the first frame when you test it. If it doesn't, make sure you added the code on the first frame of the code layer. And make sure your code looks like this. Click the File menu and save it when you got it right. We're cleaning this up. Lab 6, we're going to create and edit interactive buttons. Welcome to Lab 6. Now remember, if you're opening up your project now for Lab 6, that you're opening up the .fla file, not the .swf file, okay? It won't work if you do. What we're going to do in this lab is we're going to change our buttons, our symbols here, which are button symbols. Well, actually, they're symbols, and we're going to change them into button symbols, because button symbols are interactive in your game. They're used to make something happen. So when you want the viewer to click on a door, you want something to happen. Okay? So we're going to convert the doors in our entry room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my code layer. I can open up my buttons layer and I'm going to go to my first frame. Now I'm going to make sure my selection key is open, click in the gray area, and now I'm going to convert this door into a symbol, a button symbol. So I can go modify, convert to symbol, and I'm going to click down button. So I'm going to call this Start Door 1 button. Do it exactly the way the example tells you to. Double check it, make sure it's right. And then I make sure that's button, I click OK. Then I unselect everything. I come in this one, select this door. Then I go modify, convert to symbol, Start Door 2 button. Make sure it's a button. Click OK. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the penguin room. So I click the third one in, which is the penguin room. I click in the gray area to unselect both buttons. Now I'm going to select the left button here. Then I can go modify, convert to symbol, this penguin door 1 button. Now make sure this is a button, I click OK. Now I'm going to modify the other door. So I click in the gray area, I click on my door 2, then I come up here to modify, I go to convert to symbol, make sure this says button, and I call this penguin door 2 button. Make sure you're spelling penguin right. Make sure you're capitalizing where you're supposed to, and your underscore is where you're supposed to, because when you go to code this, you want it to work. Okay? Make sure you're doing it right. When you have a symbol in your library and you have a symbol on your stage, it's called an instance of that symbol. And you can have one or many instances of a symbol. But if you're going to change the color of a symbol or the way a symbol acts, it will affect all the instances of that symbol. One of the things we can do to identify our instances and tell them apart is to give our instances names. So what we're going to do is we're going to name our symbols in our code. You're going to use the instance name in your code, since the instance is what is really on the stage, not the original symbol. So you're going to name the instance of your doors. So now I'm going to name my instances. I'm going to go back to my first room, and I'm going to click in the gray area, and I'm going to select my left door, and see where it says instance names up here in the properties. I'm going to call this one Start Door 1. And click enter. So now I'm clicking the gray area, so I unselect that door, and I select this door. Now I name this instance Start Door 2. Let's click enter. Now we go to the penguin room. Click in the gray area, select the door on the left, call this instance penguin door 1. Click enter, come into this area, click here, and call this instance penguin door 2. No spaces. You'll see the different icons, and these stand for different symbols. So this stands for the movie clip symbol, this stands for a button symbol, and this stands for a graphic symbol. Those are the 3 types of symbols. Each symbol tile has is a symbol type. It helps you show what kind of a symbol it is. An example of that is these are movie clip symbols, right? So you can see that all these are movie clips. That's a button symbol, and we don't have any graphic symbols in here. One other thing that's fun to do is animate symbol timelines, give them different colors, that kind of things. What symbol timelines are within the symbol itself. Okay, it's not the whole project, it's just for that symbol. When you're in the symbol's timeline, the name of that symbol is in scene 1. So now we're going to go in the B room. We're going to go into that play again button. So I'm going to double click it. And now you see I have inside the timeline, I have up, over, down, and hit. Up is the up state is how your button looks like in its normal state when it's not being clicked or pointed at. Over, that's when your mouse looks like when the viewer's pointer points to the button, if I hover over it, right? Down is when how your button looks when it's clicked. And hit is just the it's just the area that you can hit, and it's going to be the target of the button. Now, hit area becomes particularly important in a game if you want to have a certain place that a player has to hit to make something happen. Okay? That's a hit area. You define it. Now, see, you can change the color of the text or the background. Let's say I want to make the background yellow. I can click in the background here, and I can click over on the color, and I can choose yellow, and I made the background yellow. Now what if I wanted to make the letters red? I can click on the text, then click in the color here, and I can click on red. What if I wanted to make a different color in the down position? I can click the down position, and I can click the color here, and I can make that green. So I want to change it to the over. I can make the text green, and I can make the background yellow. So let's see what that looks like. So here's this one, here's this one, and there's that what it looks like when it's down. So when you're finished horsing around, you can come back to the game. I can click over here to return, and that should take me back, and see my buttons change colors. So now I can change the other instance. I'll come over here, and see that looks the same, doesn't it? Because it's the same object, but I can always color up the back button. So I can come up here to the back button, and I can double click that. See, that's a different thing. It's not, it's a instance, right? It's its own instance. See, these are both, these last two are both play again buttons. So whatever I did to one affected the other, but not the back button. So I'm going to do my own thing to the back button. I'll double click it. So I can change the background. I can give it a certain color. I make the text a certain color. And I can put the over, I can make that a certain color. And I can make the down a certain color. And I'll come back. Now this is a very important step. Check your work. Make sure you've converted the doors on frame 1 and 3 to button symbols. Make sure they're all buttons. Make sure your button symbol names and instance names match the one used in this course. Otherwise, your code isn't going to work. Just go back and change it if it's wrong. You know, if you wanted to change how the back button and the button states look like, you can do that. So if everything's the way you want it, save your file, and you're all ready for Lab 7.